business. But this is a very emotional issue. It's a very heartfelt issue, and I'm sure you'll hear that in the testimony that of people that we do have here this morning. So with that, we'll let the public speakers speak on behalf of the resolution.
Let's start with Jennifer Green from our State's Attorney's Office. If she would come up to the microphone here, and if you would fill out a witness slip, I would appreciate it after the fact. But
good morning, Commissioners. Thank you.
Good morning.
I'll speak briefly as to the prevalence and the law enforcement efforts that are happening in Cook County. First of all, I will say that we've had a human trafficking statute on the books here in Illinois since 2006. Up until 2009, it had never been charged at the local level. Every case that did get charged in the state of Illinois was charged through the federal courts. In 2009, the State's Attorney's Office began its human trafficking initiative and received funding from the Department of Justice for the Cook County Human Trafficking Task Force, which involves local, state, and federal law enforcement and prosecution. It's co-led by the State's Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office, as well as our social service partner, the Stop It program. And what that task force does is a lot of different things. First of all, it convenes law enforcement on a monthly basis to talk about every case that's happening in the Cook County region in northern Illinois. It also conducts massive community outreach and awareness and training, as well as provides direct services to victims who are recovered in law enforcement efforts, as well as outside of law enforcement efforts. We are very proud to say that since the initiative started, we went from 0 cases charged to, as of Monday, 81 cases charged in Cook County at the state level. As far as prevalence in Cook County, the FBI has designated the Chicagoland area as a hub for human trafficking because we are a transportation city, a convention destination, a port city. We're seeing increased involvement with gangs, engaging in particularly sex trafficking of minors, which is a huge issue for us here in Cook County. For your benefit, I will let you know that we have charged cases not just from Chicago, but from Lansing, Elk Grove Village, Bedford Park, Franklin Park, Evergreen Park, Mount Prospect, Schiller Park, Cicero, and our Operation Little Girl Lost, which was the first state-run wiretap in the country, involved a charging of 10 defendants that operated in every suburban area, northwest suburbs, west, near west, southwest, south side, everywhere except for near north suburbs. We were seeing their operations for sex trafficking of minors as young as 11 years old.
Thank you. I have one question for you.
Yes.
The resolution does not specify a specific piece of legislation. It just talks about a general description. Is there a specific piece of legislation that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office is in favor of that's either pending in the U.S. Congress or pending in the Illinois General Assembly?
At this time, no. There are efforts at the federal level to look at these issues, but I will say that we are working closely with all of our partners to put any legislative efforts forward that will assist law enforcement with the tools they need, as well as raise awareness to this issue. And we're willing to talk with anyone, Commissioner Gorman and the people she's brought today about how we might do that.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, on that point,
Commissioner Daley.
But are there any vehicle bills in the General Assembly that would be used as they go back? As you know,
not that I'm aware of at this time. I'm not aware of a law that does specifically what this resolution is asking for.
The vehicle bills in Springfield would not be able to address this issue, or could be amended to address this issue.
It could possibly be amended. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions to this witness? Okay. Then the next witness, I have 3 witnesses from the same company: Sean Morrison, Carlos Rodriguez, and Andrew Holmes. Are they here? Would you like to testify, or do you only need one of you to testify? Okay. Stand up here and identify which witness you are, please.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Holmes. I'm a community activist, and I'm also a private investigator with Morrison Investigation Company.
Okay.
And good morning, Commissioners. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm here on behalf, I'm not against the telephone company industry, but what I am here is asking that they do help us with our situation as far as human trafficking, our drug problem here, as far as these phones, drop phones, that it's important that we have them registered. And reason being because so many of our children that we try to track, and they have these phones and they're not registered, at least if they were registered, We can find out who the owners were. Some of these children, we are getting out of trap houses, out of basements. And the person who registers this phone, at least we can have a line of communication who owns this phone. Or if it's a parent that registers this phone, we can at least communicate with them. But once this phone is thrown away, we have no information. And we often try to keep the information, and if we can get a hold to that phone and we can look through that phone, we can find much more information to save our children.
Okay, thank you. Do any of the other two gentlemen from the Morris Agency want to testify? Morrison Agency, I'm sorry.
Good morning, Commissioners, and we greatly appreciate this
is?
opportunity. My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm the president of Morrison Investigations. When we talk about human trafficking, we need to highlight the fact that the Department of Justice has identified human trafficking as being the second largest criminal enterprise next to narcotics. And with that said, here in the Chicagoland area in Cook County, we're starting to see a lot of that. We're not a law enforcement agency. We come from law enforcement. We're a full-service detective agency, and we offer a pro bono service where we network with the Chicago Police Department, the FBI, Crimes Against Children Task Force, and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, as well as other law enforcement agencies. What we do is we kind of work as a liaison. We work closely with the victims' families, and too many times we've developed leads where maybe the child who was taken, who's under the control of either the traffickers or drug dealers, had an opportunity to make a phone call, and it's really discouraging when the only lead we have is that cell phone, and when we run it, we find out that it's a pay-as-you-go. We can't identify that person, and we lose precious time. So I urge the Commission and everybody to work towards some kind of resolution, and that we can work with the phone industry to better safeguard our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Then the next witness is Elena Chapman from O'Fallon, Illinois, one of the great cities of southern Illinois.
It is. My name is Alana Chapman, and I'm coming here today from this southern region on a more of a personal note. My daughter, her name is Samantha Chapman, and she went missing on February 5th, 2013. In 5 days, it'll be 6 months that she's been missing. I know her to be in the Chicago area, and I've been working with several police departments and Morrison Investigations. It has been brought to my attention through the media about the recovery of 105 people in the FBI's intelligence. It certainly gives me a glimpse of hope that maybe more of the people will be found, including my daughter. I know who my daughter is with, and I know who my daughter is with, however, that they are being protected. The person that she is with and his company are known drug dealers and affiliated with a gang, and there's a possibility of the modern sex slavery that's going on here in this area and around the world. My daughter is a straight-A student. She was very involved with extracurricular activities. She was a good girl and prided herself on going to college. I know that when she had left with her friends, they told me after the math that she had an additional phone, and that phone was turned off. I know that I'm confident that the police and or working private investigators were to have access to an identification to that phone, that way she would be recovered more quickly. Samantha has tried to make contact on 2 different occasions, and the phones have come back as pay-as-you-go phones. Speaking with her, I know that her life is in danger, and I believe that authorities have the ability to identify, and or private investigators that had the phone and Samantha was allowed to call from it would be a positive step in the right direction finding her. The worst thing is knowing that she's not safe. I know that statistics show that in Cook County alone that someone is reported missing every 30 minutes, and I know that 2.5 million people worldwide victims in the modern day slavery. We can't fix all the world's crime and save everyone. However, if this was your loved one, I urge this proposition to take it into effect. It simply would help save lives. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story.